لازم ندخلهم. لحظة.
نعم.
دخلوا كل العالم. ممتاز. طيب. Good evening.
Hi, Samah.
Hi. How do you feel? I know that you don't feel very well lately. So how is your health?
I was sick for the last 2 days. Now I feel better, but I'm really excited to be here and to do this session, and I hope it will go well.
I really hope that our audience, our guests, our friends have the chance to know you better. I'm still knowing you, and I enjoyed the last month working with you, so I wish you the very good luck in your new position. And I want to start with welcoming our friends around the world. I don't know how many people are there, but we are still waiting for you all. But I want you maybe to tell our guests a little bit who's Roy, a little bit about you, and how did you came at all to be واحد السلام Neve Shalom, resident, partner, staff member in the School for Peace?
That's a very big question.
You have the time.
I will start when I was 24. I was studying for a bachelor's degree then in psychology and biology, and I did a course about the intergroup relations between men and women.
Okay, that's interesting. You know me.
It was a very, yes, I know that your feminist side
It's very strong.
likes this example. It was a very meaningful course for me. I understood a lot about life, about society, about political pressures, and about groups. And after the course ended, I asked the professor, Professor Ariela Friedman, where did she come up with this method? You know, we talk.
And she's very well-known feminist, theoretical feminist and activist.
And then I discovered she is a friend of the School for Peace. And the method is very interesting. You speak in the group, not only as an individual, but a member but through your identity. And the facilitators analyze what's going on in the group through the intergroup relations. And some of the sessions, the man sits apart from the women, and the man with the facilitator Ofer, and the women with Ariela. And she told me that this method is exactly the method of the School for Peace for Jewish-Palestinian dialogue. And I was really amazed. And then she said that if I want, there is also a course in the university that I can
extra
experience.
Credit, you can have extra credit, and we still do that.
Exactly.
in 3 universities. Okay.
Exactly. You know, when we still do that, it's for credit. It's for real credit.
And then it was without credit?
No.
It was optional? Like
I started by the next year. I decided I'm taking this course. I was already a master's student in biochemistry.
I know, but you know.
So it wasn't for credit because no biochemistry.
It's not related.
Because it's not
there
related.
Is no such a thing, peace chemistry. So.
Who knows?
Yes.
So I came in the room. I started the year. I was a master's student, and I said, okay, I must take this course. I entered the room, and I feel like there's something strange going on. You know, like there's a professor is talking, he's telling the students, you know, you need to pre-register. Not everyone are allowed into the course, and I was becoming nervous. And
why you are not allowed? Because you,
I was like, I need to figure out what's going on. And then I saw two people standing in the side who looked older than the students, and I told them what is going on. And they said, this course must be equal number of Jews and Arabs.
okay, and they have more Jewish than Arab, or the opposite?
No, they had more Jewish than Arab.
Okay,
And those two people were Nava and Ahmad.
I see. Okay, you learn from the best.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I told them, okay, I understand it's really important. You know, I took the men and women, and Ariella sent me here. Yes. And all this. And Nava told me, okay, maybe you can enter the course, but you must come with an Arab.
Okay,
I said, okay.
I will
next week
find one.
I will find one, I'll come with an Arab. So
Okay.
I had a week, and I went up and down the biology building. Every floor is another
Or-
department. So, you know, there's zoology and botanics.
There's not a lot, you know, Arab students
There
around
are
that.
no. But in the biochemistry, they were in the
Find one.
I found one.
And you bring her, and you registered to that course, and what happened?
That was an extremely powerful course for me. I received an awareness for the power relations.
Okay.
I received an awareness for what my society is doing, and then towards the end of the course I became frightened. I was like, okay, this means a lot of responsibility.
About what?
I even remember I even remember that I said in that group that I imagine I will have a child, a daughter, and she will ask me, okay, you changed your awareness, but then what did you do?
What about me?
Exactly. How? Like, what's going on?
You know, like 12 years after you are here and you have a daughter.
Yes, it's almost 15 years, and I have a 2-year-old now.
Daughter.
Daughter, her name is
I
Tamara.
can't ask you yet, but I will ask. So, what you do in the School for Peace? For the last 14 years, you were one of the main facilitators. You were a coordinator. You was coordinator here, and you manage lots of projects. And now, it seems like you have, you know, big shoes to fill. You are replacing Dr. Nava Sonnenschein, and you know she's the founder. I think that you might they have problem with your mic or something.
Should I?
Yeah,
Okay.
your voice must be heard.
I hope it will be
Good.
heard.
We need your voice. So Dr. Nava Sonnenschein founded the School for Peace. She is one of the main founders of the village as the community, and she was leading the School for Peace still for the last 8 years. And you're stepping in. So what's your plans?
First of all, I really want to appreciate Nava and to say that I'm looking forward to the next years to work with her, still in the School for Peace. I'm stepping into big shoes, but I learned from the best. I was when I came into the School for Peace, Ahmad was the director,
Late Ahmed, yeah.
which
May he rest in peace.
which was a real leader and is still missed.
We all feel the same way.
And I still imagine what would have been.
You know,
Sometimes
Ahmed recruited me like 14 years ago to the, you know, one of the programs, and he was really, you know, main figure and another word of the leadership. He's a model in leadership in our movement.
one of the moments I felt legitimized, I got a call from Ahmad, and he said, why don't you, this year Nava cannot do this, why won't you facilitate the course in Tel Aviv University?
Wow. So he gave you the opportunity actually to step in, to
I
be
didn't
part of the
take-
staff.
I didn't take it at that time.
Why?
I
I was afraid.
no, I went to the States where I had a fellowship in the US Congress.
This is another story.
It's
that you
another
have
story,
to-
yes. I
yeah,
didn't
you
want to
have
go into it, but from that moment, I felt legitimized as a facilitator. That was really something before that phone call and after that phone call, because you know I was working in the youth workshops where you have like you work in a big staff and you have the coordinator with you. It's something different than to be told, okay, you can have your own course. So this is one thing, but when Nava had to step in and replaced Ahmad, it was a really a turning point for the School for Peace. You know, it was a low point, and in
the moral and
yes,
the emotional situation of the village, of the community as well.
yes,
We were all in depression after his loss. Yeah.
and I saw how in those years the organization rebuilt itself. So I really had an opportunity to see leadership.
So now it's your turn for leadership, and I want to tell our guests what's your plans, what's your dreams for this amazing organization that was based 42 years ago, and now you have the opportunity to do what you dream. It's like you've been trained, you work in the staff, you was like still main part of the staff. So what's your goals? Like what's the next step for the School for Peace, and what do you need from our audience, from us? So what's your dreams, Roy?
The School for Peace has a great staff. We have a very, very committed, how to call it, like team, but like all our project coordinators and project directors, like the small staff, and we have 15 active facilitators working with us. So it's really great, and they are all extremely professional.
Still under the coronavirus. So we are the full capacity of the School for Peace, we still going on, and the project is going on. And we have great plans for 2021.
So in these 5 weeks that I was, since I became director, I was trying to think, what is the direction? And one of the things I know we need to do is a strategic process. Mm-hmm. But in the meantime...
But maybe a little bit, what do you mean by strategic process for the School for Peace?
We need all of us to figure out where we want to go and how we want to do that.
What's the vision?
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's the staff, it's with the facilitators, it's with the input of the village, it's with the input of the friends associations of the village.
And the development and the communication office as well.
Of course. Without development and communication, we cannot do one step.
We enjoy like your frequent visits to the office and many hours together.
It's my second home.
Yes. So the strategic plan will take us to the vision that you dream about, and we will work with that, to push that forward with your staff, with the staff of the School for Peace, the facilitators, our board members as well,
yes,
the friend association, and what else?
But I want to highlight some things which already came up as important for us. Okay? So first of all, we understood that we must position the School for Peace as an important and unique part of the peace camp or of the left or whatever you want to call it, but we have a unique contribution that we can make to advance our goals.
According to the history and the documentation of what the people did here with the amazing history of the School for Peace and the community, Wahat al-Salam Neve Shalom was a very important player in that camp, in that field of peacemaking and the peace camp. And what's happened? Why we lost that prestigious, powerful position in our area, in our playground?
I don't know. I feel that many people tell me in those 5 weeks, we need to hear you more. We need the
Okay.
voice of the School for Peace. It needs to be out there.
And how are we going to do that?
We will see. I have some ideas, but I'm not sure.
But you told me about, going outside the village. This is one of the things that you think about, to be more, to become active outside the community as
I don't want to miss the other 2 points that I want to say about where we want to go, but I'll come back to that.
Okay.
The second thing that is important to us is to have influential graduate community.
Wow.
Yes. We feel that our graduates are an amazing asset for the School for Peace with great potential to influence society and to influence the conflict.
What about the village, the community?
The third thing I wanted to
the
say,
incubator.
the third thing I wanted to say is connecting to the village.
Okay.
Okay? The School for Peace, from the conversations we had inside the staff, is not connected enough to the village. This is how we feel.
Okay. I think it's shared feeling with the community as well. So you hear that from, from the General Assembly, from the youth, from, different partners or members of the community. So what you are going to do about that?
So these 3 things are on our agenda without doing yet a big process and a deep process, but these 3 things are leading all of our actions.
Okay. This is like the guidelines that you have.
Exactly, something like that. So we're thinking about doing cooperation with the NADI.
The youth club.
The youth club.
In the community.
Yes, we contacted the Carmela of
The primary school principal.
Exactly, and there are some avenues for cooperations there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we are trying to see how we can use the human resource of the village for our activities, for our courses, for our staff, for everything we do, actually. So it's a long-term process and it has many levels, but we'll go through it.
You mentioned before to invest in our graduates forum, or because some people don't know, but our friends around the world know that the School for Peace have around 70,000 graduates for the last 40 years. You yourself facilitate like hundreds of workshops again, in the last 15 years. And lots of people, donors and people who, consider themselves supporters of our work or our agenda, ask, what is the impact? Why to invest in the School for Peace? What you are doing with this 70,000 graduates around the region? So tell me a little bit more about your idea of investing influential, and you mentioned that word, influential graduate. What do you want them to do?
Wow, there are many things that our graduates can do and are doing.
Yes,
actually. So I don't know if I should give examples or should I say the principle.
I think you can do both.
Both, maybe.
Yeah. So
okay.
you just tell the principle and give us one example to, to feel what you think about, like one good story.
Okay. Participating in a long-term process of the School for Peace is transformative experience.
Okay.
Okay. People are changed after it, and the School for Peace should be a place which also enables those changed people
to change others.
We use the word to externalize the change that happened within them. But you can use other words which are
That's why we call them change agents, right?
Yes,
Okay.
but yes. So this is the principle. So if a person did a course for leadership in mixed cities, and he now understands things differently.
Yeah.
So we had a graduate who started a mixed party to run for the local municipality elections.
Okay.
Okay, in Carmiel, which people don't know is a mixed city in becoming.
Okay.
Okay,
It's ongoing.
Exactly, it's not a mixed city since
It was
1948.
planned as a Jewish,
It was a Jewish city.
Okay.
It was a Jewish city, but because of the land regime around around Carmiel, the Arab villages had problems building, and they
Housing
have
and yeah.
housing problems. So many people went into Carmiel.
So it's a big thing to have political party or mixed political party in Jewish city in the north of Israel, while you have, you know, the government invest millions of dollars by, you know, bringing or the, you know, converting the Galil to Jewish area.
Yes, and they are rejecting the fact that they are mixed cities.
They are in denial.
They are in denial.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, well, as a social worker, you know how problematic it is.
But like you asked, we have our graduates to change that reality as well. Okay.
And I just now remember that one important avenue, one important direction we think our graduates are not going enough into, maybe because they need extra support for that to organize, is influencing within their professional organizations.
Yes.
I just remembered because I said social worker.
Yeah. I am social worker. I'm very proud.
So we think there is an incredible potential to have our graduates, I don't know how many we have, maybe 300 social workers who are graduates of us, to organize, to find what are the goals, what are the good avenues to influence within the social workers organization, and to do that.
But you know, this is like as an activist, and you are activist as well, and you have your own initiative. Maybe you tell us about what you did in, you know, your parallel life. Like Neve Shalom Wahda Salam is not only the only thing that you do, but in order to, after graduating the School for Peace, to decide that you are going to do something and to change the community or something in your profession, you need a lots of, you know, help, support, sometimes it's technical, sometimes it's emotional support. So what I understand from you, that you want us to invest in that, the third step of, like, after the graduation, after the process that they do in the School for Peace, you want to lead and to be mentor or to be there around to do what?
Maybe I'll do a U-turn back to my personal story.
Good. Personal stories always works.
Yes,
so.
Because where did we leave? Where we left it? I was in the university course of the School for Peace. During that course, Ahmed and Nava offered me to come to facilitators course.
Yes.
And that, after that, right after this facilitators course, it was 2006, there was the Second Lebanon War.
Yeah.
Yes. I was, you know, still a person, I was still in the army, in the reserve army, and I was called for that war. I was already, how do you call it? Sarvan Shtachim in Hebrew. I was a refusenik to serve in the occupied territories at that point. But they told me, there is an important war in Lebanon. It's not occupied.
The West Bank.
Yes.
We can occupy Lebanon, but not the West Bank. So you can go there.
Oh my God, yes. So I went to that war. I was 39 days in that war. And one day in the middle, I came back
For
home.
a weekend.
For a weekend. And I went to a demonstration against the war in that weekend. And I met friends from the facilitators course.
You met Michal, I believe.
I met Michal, a friend. She was a facilitator of the facilitators course.
She's another previous staff member of the School for Peace, of course.
Yes. And that experience really changed me. And I was like,
that's it.
Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I became a facilitator in the youth workshops. And in that thing, I understood the matter of learning Arabic. How not normal it is, how wrong it is that I couldn't speak Arabic. So
Why it bother you?
there is something in the modeling that the youth come and I want to show them an alternative. I want to show them that things can be different. And I'm like, you don't want to put in the hours the effort to learn Arabic? This is a way to show them that things can be different.
So basically you walk the talk.
Exactly, I try to be responsible in the things I do.
So what you did?
And how I live. I learned Arabic, but during this process I understood that there is a problem. It was 2007. At that time there was much bigger problem than now in learning Arabic. There was not enough courses, there were not enough teachers.
It was institutional actually, like it is the policy
yes.
of the government actually.
Yes. So I started an organization for teaching spoken Arabic. And that organization grew and it's teaching children in schools. And this organization, it's called Amal, Hope, but also Amal, عربية محكية للجميع.
Amal, it's working.
Amal, it's working, but
spoken Arabic for all.
Spoken Arabic for all.
Okay.
عربية محكية للجميع.
This is nice, nice sentence.
Yes.
Okay. So what did you like? You learned Arabic and you start to.
I started this organization. The last 2 years we have. Listen, it's since 2010. This organization.
Like 10 years.
10 years.
Okay.
And the last 2 years we have like a strategic pact with the Tel Aviv municipality, and we have this year we have 12 schools.
Wow.
In Tel Aviv, elementary schools. And who are the teachers? Arab university students, mostly from Tel Aviv University, but not only.
Sounds like perfect win-win situation, like when you give a decent living for Arab students in Tel Aviv University, and Jewish young fellows or students learn Arabic from the students.
Exactly.
And you are now affiliated with 12 schools in Tel Aviv.
Only in Tel Aviv.
Only in Tel Aviv.
But there are
that
some.
Seems that you have dreams to go, bigger. Because we now have you like in full-time job. The School for Peace is very time-consuming.
Yes.
You already know that.
Yes. Yes. I had a long process of dropping many other commitments.
Okay. Good luck with that.
Yes. But what I wanted to say, that we thought that we would build a very successful model and it would be easily copied to many places and it will be in the entire country and all that.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that now in our age because there is no political will. The strong forces, political forces, are against what we are trying to do.
They legalized the national state law against learning the Arabic.
Exactly. So it's not enough that you do something good and cheap and in a systemic point of view that you can benefit from many places and you have.
You're basically saying if it's not the policy, it's not going to be big. It will be private.
If it's not political.
Okay. So I like that you take us to that, field, and that we enjoy arguing politics in this region with the Palestinian, Israelis, and the international community. But I want to ask you about, the peace camp that behaved lately more than refugee camp. And, we have less and less resources and supporters. We have lots of small, tiny movements and organizations, and something bad is happening. And I wonder what you have to say about, this movement that we don't feel that the word peace is worth anymore. And we grew up with the concept of peace and justice that we are trying to bring on in different ways. And so what's really happening and what we can do, especially, and we have also questions from the audience that we got previously about the new model of peace that the leaders in the Middle East, with the support of Trump regime, invented. The normalization accords and everything going around. So let's take step by step about Israel-Palestine, what's happening in the refugee camp, and what do you think that we can do?
First of all, I feel that we beat ourselves up too much.
Okay, we are too judgmental.
We are too judgmental towards ourselves because we are really swimming against the stream. So, can you say that?
Yeah, I think. You can mention the salmon.
Like salmon fish.
Yes, you teach me that thing. I didn't know. I'm Palestinian. We don't eat salmon. So what's happened? So you think that we are
going against very strong forces, and which are good in divide and conquer, okay? And it's not just that they use the strategy of divide and conquer. They use money and they use other resources and their power to divide. Okay. So first of all, there is a reason why these things are happening.
Of course.
And it's not only that we are Puritans. People say Puritans that you don't want to cooperate with the other because it's not perfect for you.
You're too perfect. Like
yes,
very picky.
Yes. It's not because we are so picky and we like to.
You need the specific partner that he looks like you and you agree about everything.
Exactly. Okay. It's not that, okay? Because there are so much forces to divide us, so we are divided.
Okay.
I can give us a tip,
Okay, we need one.
Yes.
Okay.
Be aware that there are those attempts to divide us, that there are those attempts to make us confused and not focused.
Fight each other.
Yes. So we can make extra effort in that
to
overcome this, but we don't need to beat ourselves up for it. Okay,
I will take that tip. Okay.
But the peace.
Yes, of course. What about it? The new model?
The new model.
Okay.
We have a new model.
Okay.
Peace is an arms deal.
Yes. Business is business.
Business is business. This is amazing. Someone asked me, what do you think about the peace agreement?
Yeah, this is one of the questions about the normalization and the peace agreements. What do you think?
My God.
ROI, the new director of the School for Peace. So
the first answer I had, which I'm not going to say.
I have a feeling that you are going to say.
I don't know. But is that how I feel towards the peace agreement is how I feel towards the regimes that signed this peace agreement. So there is Trump and there is Benjamin Netanyahu, and there is the United Emirate Kingdom.
And Bahrain
and Sudan. Wow, you just need to open Wikipedia and you know how you feel towards it. But we can put that aside. It's not the answer. The answer is, for example, the arms deal. That it's not a peace agreement, it's an arms deal. Those F-35 planes that cost 800 million apiece. It's something that we cannot.
We want to have one cost of that, planes to our peace movement. We will do great, right? Like for one plane.
Oh my God! And then worst. Okay, from my side, it's worst. Israel is selling things. Israel is selling special techniques
technology
to spy on people. which was developed in the occupied territories
Okay.
to
So like Israel now training other regimes how to oppress their people?
yes.
They are, like she's helping, actually. Israel is helping these regimes to...
Look, it's doing it without this peace agreement.
Of course.
But this peace agreement allows for another customer.
it's open.
Yes, there is another customer, so the Emirates can buy this technology.
So what we are going to do, it's still they have the peace and they have this very famous, photo and the lawns of the White House and everybody's happy. And what one right-wing activist says that you will get to used to that and you are now angry, but you will get used to that.
Wait, I want to problematize this further.
Okay.
The Palestinians are losing support and are left alone,
Left behind.
Yeah. abandoned in those, because of those agreements.
Yeah, because the only support, even it's like moral and emotional, little bit economical support from the Arab world, it's now, we are alone in the field.
Look, moral support is very important.
Of course.
And emotional support is very important.
Of course. So what we are going to do about that?
I don't know also.
But do you think that the School for Peace should continue for the cross-border programs?
I think the School for Peace should continue the cross-border programs. Look, I want to say something about those peace agreements.
Accords, yes.
Yes. I think we should also have a say in that. Okay, we should have a say in that. And to have our voice be heard about these issues as well.
Mm-hmm.
But about cross-border activities, this is connected to normalization question.
Of course.
Okay, look, we have partners and people who want to work with us, who see those programs as support. They see us working with them as that we are building something together. They get an opportunity to do something together.
It's a really important point, actually. So you are pointing that when we do cross-border programs with Palestinian participants, even if it's like via Zoom or we are going to Jordan or, not in the corona, but it's still kind of support for the Palestinian side?
As well.
Okay.
Not only, but as well. It's
and what's it doing for the Israelis? This kind of people-to-people meetings, actually, that we are never give up. We're going.
I do another U-turn to my personal story.
Okay.
After.
It's okay, but do it quick.
I'll do it quick. After I did the facilitators course, I was offered to be a participant in the mental health professional course. Nava called me and she said, I remember that you studied psychology in your first degree.
Okay, don't give inside information, okay.
There was a spot open.
Okay.
And that was an amazing opportunity. That was an amazing opportunity. I still remember the pain I felt for 4 straight days in Jordan.
Wow.
It was so painful to listen to the participants from the West Bank and to understand what it means about your group. For someone who's aware, for someone who did the process.
Yeah, did something about that, and the reflection was too tough for you.
It was very painful. It was very painful.
But we are going to do that again. So prepare yourself. With the Palestinian partners are waiting, and this brings me to some of your questions. And you know that 2 years ago, when actually, or maybe 3 years ago, we lost a big grant from the American aid money when Trump decided that took out of all the financial support for any program involved with Palestinians. And we have mental health program training, and we were in the middle of that process. And we lost that grant. NAVA and the Communication and Development Office and our friends stepped in, and we did amazing job finishing that program, regarding and Trump administration decision. And we have a question from Sweden. Our friend is asking about Trump, asking about what your expectation is with the new president elected of the USA, and is that going to influence us? Because we know Biden, but we as peace organization suffered for 4 years under Trump administration, but still, do you have any expectations from the new, hopefully, U.S. regime or administration?
Look, when we're talking about this, another grant, more money coming in for this kind of activities, yes, maybe there will be an improvement.
It might be slight, opening
Yes.
opportunities under this administration.
But regarding systemic change, I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't want to say, I'm pessimistic, there will be no change. But
You
I'm
told
not
me
sure.
that you have been in the U.S. working in the Congress, actually. You
Yes.
have
This is what makes me a little bit pessimistic, but I didn't.
because you were inside the Congress. And
I
you
was
know-
working for Dennis Kucinich, who was the most leftist congressman on the Hill. And from that perspective, I saw that the Democratic Party was not so, was more important for them to be supportive of Israel, to be supportive of Israeli military needs. Again, we go to the arms deals.
Yeah.
Okay, protect Israel, keep Israel strong. So I'm not so optimistic about that, but today we're 10 years later, and also the Democratic Party is not as it used to be. And
They
it has
they
a
tasted the
stronger
force.
progressive branch, and who knows what can be.
So we'll keep the faith.
Look, we are going, again I will
naive,
say,
like,
no,
you
no,
know,
no.
we're
We are going against the stream. Again, I will say that.
Yes, we are.
And it's
And our
not,
Democratic friends as well. They are in their
I wanted to
reality.
say-
They are fighting.
I wanted to say it when you talked about the impact. What is
Yes.
the impact?
Okay.
We're in a situation that the mere fact that we are existing and thriving and having successful activities is an impact. Okay? We are modeling. Like I said, when a youth group comes here, there is a Palestinian and Jewish facilitators. They are models. They are doing modeling. This organization, this village, and the School for Peace are models for the outside. Okay, so
They are role models. Yes. Lots of people see us as a role model.
So the fact that what I want to say is that we are successful as it is now, and I don't know. I'm sure that an important change is dependent on outside influence as well. And if I say, okay, it doesn't seem like the Biden administration will be this critical outside intervention, then it means that we will have, I don't know, 4 or 8 more years in the same situation. But we must continue being good role models.
So I will go back to our friend John Waller. She's a board member of our American Friend Association, and she's asking, she's very practical, and I like that, John. What are the challenges in the School for Peace during 2021? Like, what is the most challenging things?
Oh my God. Should we talk about the arsons and all this?
Of course. We have to rebuild the campus. We have to rebuild the peace and the building.
I didn't think. You know, I had a dream to be the director of the School for Peace. I didn't think it will involve being a building contractor. But this is one challenge. The second challenge is to mobilize as many of our graduates to those, as I said before, the influential communities, graduate communities. This is a real challenge, because if we have, I don't know, 1,000 relevant graduates, it's a big difference if we can mobilize 100 of them or 300 of them. So this is another challenge. And connecting the School for Peace to the village.
For the community, the incubator, the first, hug of the mother. We have
another challenge.
It's another challenge. There's a very interesting question that just came in. So I don't know who's asked that, but for me as a Palestinian, inside Israel, and do you think that the village or the School for Peace has a role to support the Palestinian citizens inside the state of Israel? What's happening in terms of the Palestinian-Jewish relationship and partnership, and how that might affect, or how we can support hopefully the joint list?
Wow. Look, this is who we are. This is our DNA.
What do you think? What you say we, so you mean the Jewish Israel?
No, the organization. The School for Peace.
Okay.
This is who we are. It's not supporting the Palestinian citizens of Israel. It's who we are. We are a Palestinian Jewish organization. It's supporting us. And we must do it. And the joint list is an important part of it. And we are in constant contact with them for many things. There isn't a month goes by which one
you don't have connection with one of the Knesset members as well.
Not even a connection. They come to lecture, to meet, or to do something in a graduate group or in a course.
Actually the main political party who came after the arson attack. Like they came in the solidarity visit, and they were the only. I hope I'm not wrong. The only political party who came and showed their solidarity.
Can I go back to the moral support and the emotional support?
Of course.
That was so meaningful. That was so meaningful to get this support, and I want to talk about two more visits that were very supportive.
Mm-hmm.
One is the ambassadors who came. There was I don't know how to call it, like a group of ambassadors from
the ambassadors, yes, like
from various EU countries.
Around 11 ambassadors came to show their solidarity from the EU and other countries, and yes, this was one of the big events of support to the community.
And I thought it would be very strict or very formal, but it really felt emotionally supportive. It was really meaningful. And I understood that it's hard to get support from our participants and from our graduates, that we try to make faces, tell them, okay, we're continue working. Don't forget we have a meeting on Friday.
Yeah.
And the Friends Associations. That was such meaningful support that it was, you feel you're not alone in the world.
Of course, and this word, actually, literally the word, we are not alone, right?
Yes, you feel you have a back.
Back.
Okay, Biden, no. But you have Friends Associations.
Yes.
You have something. You have something in the world.
Of course, you have partners, actually, and Friend Association, and this is bring me to other friends that we are going to, and we talk about that, the Israeli-Palestinian friends, and maybe the joint list, and people with that event. It was really unfortunate, incidents, the attack or the arson attack, but in the solidarity event, we felt like the community, the parents from the primary school, like people show up also from the churches, mosque around us, that people are, and rabbis as well. So they came to say that one thing, that we are with you, and you can't, you know, sit and fire the peace, and will continue support. And you say that this is moral support, that it was really needed in that crisis. But here's a question about, do we have a, you know, role to advocate for the Palestinians? You know, you mentioned before that the Palestinian voice didn't, you know, now it's less heard, and the Palestinians feel that they're left behind with what's happening in the, you know, the region, the new Middle East. So can we do something as, and you especially as Jewish Israeli, to support or to advocate the Palestinian cause inside the Israeli society, that are convinced now that there is no partner for peace in the you know, other side, behind the walls?
When we have cross-border activities, it is much easier to do that.
Of course.
But we didn't have cross-border activities for almost 2 years.
Yeah. The last one was supported by the EU with the upcoming politicians and the, the mental health providers. Yes,
the mental health professionals.
Yeah.
Our graduates do some activities about that. There is one participant in our Mixed Cities group. You know, people are doing initiatives and projects about things that are connected to mixed cities.
Yeah.
But this guy doesn't want to, and he wants to do something with Palestinians cross-border, and he took part, and he is taking part in organizing a group to deal with environmental issues in Bethlehem area. So it's one thing, just an example of things that are happening or can happen.
We can have also statements and position papers to advocate the Palestinian cause inside, you know, to write articles and to, you know, demonstrate and to be very active. And you mentioned also, when we prepare for this session, the your desire or your plans, and that I'm really in favor with combining the struggles inside the Israeli society. With marginalized communities, you know, not only Palestinians. Maybe you tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes. Oh, first of all, I want to start with something that Israelis understand in our activity, that Israel cannot be a democracy when it is racially segregated or religiously segregated, or whatever you want to call it. So this is something which happens all the time. Mm-hmm. You know, writing articles, talking about this. This is our activity. This is what we do.
To challenge that.
To challenge the status quo, and to challenge those ideas which we think are wrong.
This is the nonviolent action that we do as well.
Yes. And now I will connect to what to what you said about the joint struggles course or program. There is an idea that different social struggles or group struggles have many things in common. And it can be group struggles for our rights as a group, or it can be other ideological struggles, as a struggle for the environment or other things. And our plan is to do a course for people who are not mental health professionals, but for people who are activists in those different struggles, Jews and Palestinians. Mm-hmm. And to see what comes out of that. We never did it, but we think it has great potential.
Step. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So maybe we got a few questions about our primary school, so maybe it's, you know, some of the audiences are a little bit confused, but ROI is the director of the School for Peace and not the primary school. And we will be happy to arrange a session about the education and from early childhood to the secondary school. in our next session, maybe. So that I will leave that question for the next session. I have tough question about the BDS.
No, let's do it.
Let's do it. How do you address the BDS, and what do you think that should be done? And now the last minute decision that Trump administration want to have to to make the BDS as anti-Semitic anti-Semitic movement, and for that will be lots of implications. So what do you think about that, the struggle or the BDS movement? And
BDS is not anti-Semitism.
We know that. Good. It's not anti-Semitism.
Maybe there are anti-Semites within BDS movement. There are anti-Semites in many political organizations.
And movements,
yes.
yes.
But the discussion about BDS should be as a useful and as the smartest political move. And I want to say to my friends around the world, when you use your time to whether buy an Israeli tomato or not an Israeli tomato, it's not the best use of your time. If you are in a place which has military contacts with Israel,
try to avoid that.
Make your stance on that to your government. I'm not saying don't do BDS. Okay, do whatever you want. But if I ask you to, it's even good for you, for your country. Why is Germany selling submarines and sometimes giving it away to Israel? And it's like dangerous weapons. There is no reason why it should be. It's not an act of solidarity towards Israel. Just an example. I didn't answer completely, but I get the point.
I think that they get the point. And okay, there are lots of questions here. There's a question about can the School for Peace reach out the Bible school in Bethlehem to teach evangelical Christians in the U.S. that Jesus wants peace, not domination. So I think this is maybe, don't laugh.
No.
I think this might be one of the challenging in the Spiritual Center Leadership Program. We are launching next month a new program in the Spiritual Center led by Hazy Schuster and the Rabbi for Human Rights, our partner for recruiting and training Christian, Muslim, and a Jewish religious figure and leadership, different leadership for in the religious area in the three Abrahamic religions. Hopefully we will succeed to proceed that, and we will address that question in that program. So thank you for
No.
But you want
I want
to
to
address the Christian thing?
I want to address it in a different way. Why I reacted like this?
I like the fact that the School for Peace director has opinion about everything. So yeah, good.
No, I was trying to convince Bob that we have your Bob.
Okay, Bob Fenton.
Bob Fenton.
The staff members, the Communication and Development Office, yes.
That we have a real interest in leftist evangelicals.
Okay.
Yes, and I think, look, we don't have an outreach program to the United States, and this is the straight answer for this question. We don't have outreach. But if we would have outreach, I would put it, I'm in the minority on that, I would put leftist evangelicals on the top of the list. That's
really challenging.
for our Bethlehem friends, for you to know.
Good. So we are like, I will try to address the extra, questions and specific question about specific programs in the School for Peace in the email, and I have another question is coming, but maybe I'll ask you to conclude. All the, feminist activists and peace leaders, we have very tough work to do, and all the nonviolence action, people who want to change the world and to bring, peace and justice and equality, and this is big words to this world. We work very hard, and sometimes it's frustrating, and sometimes we feel alone, and sometimes we feel that we are like hopeless. And so where you bring your energy from, and what's the thing that bring you to come out of your bed and continue doing this? Where does your hope come from?
My work comes with working with participants and seeing transformation. When you see transformation, it brings energy. I don't want to say it brings hope that now all of a sudden you think Biden will be different and the Israeli left would be different and all that. But it brings you energy. Transformation does that. And should I talk about a specific group I work with?
One example will be good.
I work now we're towards the end of the course of the Mixed Cities group. And it's really an amazing group because they fight a lot, but they really like each other. And they meet outside of the planned curriculum.
It sounds like good marriage. Fight a lot and like each other. So
it tells a lot about people, what they think is a good marriage.
Okay. So what's happened in that group?
Now they are in the project stage.
The third stage of our Change Engine program is actually to go into the field and do some projects, and we talked about that we want to invest in that phase.
Yes, and there was this the youngest participant in the course. She's taking the entire course to Suba.
Suba?
Suba is a
kibbutz?
It's a kibbutz, but it used to be a Palestinian village.
Yeah.
And Omar will come with us.
It's destroyed Palestine. Okay. Now you are mixing the cards. So I will explain. So Suba is now a Jewish kibbutz here next around us and then next to the village, and it's a destroyed Palestinian village originally called Suba. And Omar, my partner, is leading in Zukhrot, and he's doing what? Because he didn't tell me that,
She will take us and tell us the story of her family and on that, and he will give us historical, more formalized.
So he will tell the story of the Palestinian village of Suba, and the participant will take the group to
it's still
tell
in planning.
The story.
It's still in planning, but it will also be filmed. This is our idea. One of the participants is a filmmaker.
Wow.
So, this is just, there are more projects there and some are bigger. This is not the biggest one, but it's something that gives the idea of how it was important for her to bring us, not to do a tour to show the village, but to show the village to our group. So I get a lot of energy from these kind of things.
Good. It looks like treatment more and support for your work.
I need a lot of support.
We all do.
I get a lot, but I need it.
I hope that you get enough from us. I don't know if to take that question, my last question, but it's a tough one actually, but it's general. But you like tough question, I know that. So we know, we are the only village in Israel where Jewish and Palestinians live together. We are the only intentionally, village that built by Palestinian and Jewish Israeli to live together. There are lots of mixed cities, what Ro'i mentioned before, but yes, we are the only shared society that intentionally built such as shared society. How do you address the accusations of normalization?
Oh. Look.
I think that we are the normal.
We need to come to the basis of what is normalization. Normalization is taking an abnormal situation of conflict and oppression and treating it as normal. And how do you treat it as normal? You meet each other, you do activities together.
You pretend that everything is normal,
You
which
pretend
is
that
not.
everything is normal. You continue with your life. And our activity in its basis is doing the opposite.
It's very important to explain that point for our audience.
Because we meet, and the first thing we do is we problematize.
We bring the conflict on the surface.
Yes, we problematize reality. We say reality is conflictual. This conflict influences everybody's life, influences it in a deep and a bad way. And this is life, and this is the situation. So we're doing anti-normalization from the beginning. But we need to deal with that. But you know, this is my ideological read on this situation. Okay? Because there are people who say, if you meet Israelis, you legitimize them. If you meet an Israeli organization, you legitimize Israel.
Yeah.
There are those people.
There are those people, but we do have Palestinian partners and especially also
And
authorities,
for them,
Palestinian authorities. For them, we are not normalization organization. There are very few peace organizations, based inside the Israeli territories that are anti-normalization, and we are not considered, a normalization organization, and we are proud of that. I want you to tell me one last wishful success. Like, if you want to give me one success that you dream for, you're taking now the lead of 42 years of activism, this amazing organization, the School for Peace, that we are very proud of. So what's your plans? I won't say 40 years from now, 10 years from now, where we will be? Like, what will success look like for you, Rui?
I am patriotic for the School for Peace. But I know in my heart that real success will be something of an entire camp or of an entire movement. Exactly. And that, and I have some visions of how it could look like.
Specific things.
Yeah, maybe the joint list going into government. Something, there are other successes, optional, potential successes. But I think that the School for Peace should, and maybe it needs to be, maybe it must be an important actor in those steps.
Maybe we should be the engine.
The engine, or the mirror, or the light.
The battle. We will be there, and we will be very important.
Yes. Our unique voice and our contribution from the professionalism that we have and our experience must assist this step.
I can sign for that list, for this agenda. Unless we have more questions, I think that we can conclude here. And I want to thank you, wish you the very, very good luck. And some people don't know, but Rui was, and with his partner, with his 3-year-old daughter, were accepted to the community as well, and they are now in the process of building their home. So you will move, hopefully, in the next few years to live in the village, in the community, and we are very proud what you are trying to do. We are here to help, and I wish you and your staff, Nava, Rui, and Harb, Amir, Fatin, Bob, and all the staff of the communication office. I want to thank you all. I want to thank our technical staff that came especially from Al-Fahim. Hopefully you see us like very clearly, and I don't know what's happening there on your screens, but if it's will be successful experience, we will do it again. So good morning, good evening, good night. It depends where you are now here around the world. And thank you all. Bye-bye.